Attention, please. This is your official civil defense broadcaster.
One of the greatest threats would be radioactive fallout.
Uranium fever.
Where fallout is heaviest, it can even kill those who have not taken proper shelter.
Broadcasting deep underground in a questionably constructed survivalist bunker is Dave CHAFINZ and Kenneth VIGUE, and your host, as always, Mr. Robots. This episode of the Fallout Hub is brought to you by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Open enrollment for advanced robotics courses starts now. Totally nothing sketchy going on. Nope, not at all.
Hey, Vault Dwellers and Wastelanders, welcome to Fallout Hub. What was that face? Okay, I'll try that again. Hey, Vault Dwellers. Oh no, I got the giggles. Hey there, Vault Dwellers and Wastelanders. Welcome to the Fallout Hub. We are back with you again for another episode of us making funny faces into cameras. So if you're watching the video version, you can... Holy crap. Anyway, for those of you on the podcast, on the audio podcast, I'm sure this is super exciting. I am back as usual. My name is Tom. I also go by Robots, and I have with me, as always, Ken. How's it going?
I'm good.
You're good. And Dave, we're just wacky today. Dave, what's up?
10-4, good buddy. It's all good down here. We're just having a great time. I'm loving it every minute. We're going to go watch the races later today and have a cold beer.
So Dave is now in Texas, I guess.
No, this is that's not. No, well, okay.
What is this? What is this accent?
This is the accent that I'm surrounded by, as you know.
Oh, this is your West Virginia.
Yeah, West Virginia. Yeah.
Oh, is it that nasally? Is it?
It really depends on who you're talking to. It really depends on who you're talking to.
Right now.
Some people will do it like this, where they're just talking to you regular, but you can kind of, I mean, you get their accent right off the bat.
It's all up here in the top of your face.
And some people kind of just go along like this, and they're just real slow, and they'll talk to you in this manner.
Is it Sam Elliott?
Maybe a little bit.
You're starting to tread into, like, I don't know, Boomhauer land in a way.
Listen,
oh, sure.
Well, I live in Boomhauer land. Yeah, it's hard to sometimes it's hard to understand, but my ears are very much trained for that sort of thing.
You can translate for us.
It's interesting. Now, if you want to learn a fun fact, here comes some culture your way. You're going to learn about people from here. And when I talk to people that are also from here, you hear my accent more, as opposed to when I talk to people from outside of here,
like us,
when I talk to you all
with regular voices, speaking regular language words.
Right. I still have an accent that you can kind of you can hear.
It's there a little bit,
but it's not as bad as when I call my parents. And so my wife is from a different area and didn't have an accent. So one time she heard me call my parents talking about dinner plans, and I picked up the phone. I was like, "Hey, how y'all doing? It's me, Dave. We gonna pick us up from the?" And she heard this whole tirade. Oh, man. Her eyes got big, and she was like, "What the hell?"
I also like how much more lyrical that is. Like the notes change more. That's something else I noticed. Like my wife's mom has a thick accent, and we joke that the end of every sentence ends with like an entire scale of notes. Especially when she's like sad or questioning something, like she'll say something like, "Well, I didn't know that." No. And I'm like, you just hit an entire octave.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to the show. This show is actually about Fallout, not about accents. And this week we have, why not both? This week we have some news and a Braxo box and maybe a surprise interview, because you know how that goes around here. And we're still in quarantine in our own individual rooms. So if you're watching the video, you can see that we've continued to decorate our rooms, and there's still a grandmother's.
But here's the thing. I love the mid-century modern curtain behind you. that's like straight like from I love that
Mhm.
with the little blanket that you have.
Afghan.
Yeah,
Is that what it's
it's
called?
good.
Yeah. Looks good. Looks good. Anyway, so what have you guys been doing in Fallout lately? What you guys have been playing any of that 76?
I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
Yeah,
So I guess since the last time we talked, I did get to join you that one time, and we remember that we got together. We talked about we all sat around in the living room having a game.
I'm in the middle of a thing. I'm doing a thing. So for summer, we're going to do some in-game role play for the podcast with some of our patrons. So we're going to have a scripted episode where they can like play as characters and then interact with our characters. So I built the Sickleman's Camp Wanna Grind a lot around a lake with a lot of the other aristocracy people. So you joined us that night that was the opening night, and we did Two Truths and a Lie, which was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but,
so we got to hang out, and we also hunted down some of the the little guys with the loot, whatever.
That was the Mole Miner Treasure Hunter event, which I absolutely loved. I think it was problematic as far as people finding stuff, but if you did the loop, you were pretty successful. I know that I ended up getting all the plans that I wanted. The circus trailer one, I really wanted, because this October I want to do like a Ray Bradbury-esque, like Circus of Evil. Kind of
that's great.
Something wicked this way comes. So I got that, and also the doors that come with that trailer actually make really amazing double doors. They're one of the more unique doors you can get in the game because they kind of open up like that, like gate doors. Doing that event was kind of fun.
Yeah, and just running around with the group, everybody's of course awesome, and it was fun hanging out. I need to do that more often. My time is kind of limited, but yeah, I'll jump in with you guys again for sure.
Yeah. Let me boot it up on my 2010 MacBook here and see if that'll run. Looks like no.
Are you having computer problems?
Well, no, I can't. I was joking about joining in on the thing.
Oh, right.
Right,
because you're a console guy. That's right.
I live off ancient technology that's prepackaged a lot of the time.
Well, I hear you don't get anything that was made after 2010 in West Virginia.
No,
that's just kind of how it works up there.
No,
right?
Well, I always say that West Virginia is 7 years behind everything. So right now we're doing the Harlem Shake. That's big.
You doing the burning?
Planking. Some kids were doing it, and I was like, "That's gonna catch on." Yeah, that's kind of new. Yeah,
that's from like 14. That's from so long ago.
If you look into the future, you've got dabbing and a blue shark to look forward to.
I'm just ready for everybody to be really into dental hygiene and doing some flossing.
That'll be a thing. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So have you been playing any 76?
I played the Treasure Hunter event, and I spent all of my caps. Had a lot of caps, and I was like swimming in caps, and then I stopped swimming in caps because I tried to buy up as many of those little pails as you could. I found a few of the mole miners, and then I've kind of, in general, and I think it's always good, especially from because Fallout 76 is my online game. I don't really. The only other thing that
you don't have enough bandwidth to play anything else.
I don't have enough bandwidth. I have really good internet, but that's just because I live in the same street as the the senators that probably stand up the internet companies. But the and the benefits of the city, that's kind of the online game that I play. So I took a break, and I didn't play Fosnot, which is hilarious to me because that's like the biggest event, and I decided to sit out from such a thing.
I don't know. I don't know if you can be on the show with us anymore.
Listen, let me tell you what I did.
I have to kick you out.
Let me tell you, I put emulators on my Wii, and I played some Nintendo 64 games, and you know what? That was
that sounds like a euphemism. Putting an emulator on your Wii.
Everybody loves a good emulator on their Wii.
Yeah, as a special gift for your wife.
You get an SD card, you plug that in, and then you get a USB stick, and you put that in, and then
in your Wii.
In your Wii.
Oh no!
With emulators.
Oh no! So
Make sure
I
you get
played.
the dongle accessory. That's pretty helpful.
It's pretty, yeah, I would imagine so. But I really have taken a break, and I think it's good. And here's the thing. Soapbox is already coming out. It is okay to take a break from games, especially ones that you really like or ones that you constantly play. Because if you don't, you're gonna get burnout and you're gonna hate it.
Yeah, but Burnout was a fun game. I liked Burnout.
The third one was the best.
Yeah, the third one was really good too. Yeah, totally.
But you're gonna get burnout, and so it is okay. I'm here. I'm here. This is. If you're not watching a video, it's okay to take a break. Sometimes.
He's looking into your soul.
It's gonna be fine. It's okay.
Thank you, Dave.
This is me stepping up soapbox.
Ken and I played Fosnot.
We did.
We played it. We got some masks.
I played a lot of Fosnot. I got every single other mask except any of the rare masks. I didn't get a single one, and the only one I really wanted was the Raven one, because it looks so.
That one looked cool.
It looks so posh and pompous.
I like the Deathclaw. The Deathclaw looks so good.
Yeah, that one. The red one reminded me of Tim Curry from Legend. Remember when Tim Curry played the devil in that weird Tom Cruise movie?
Yeah.
It was like,
what a call out.
Wow. That was
I'm a child of the 80s. Leave me alone. That was a great movie.
Deep dive.
Tim Cruise walking around with that red shirtlessness with the shaggy feet. That's what it reminded me of.
All right. Yeah, I enjoyed Fosnot. It felt a little different this year. I think having a bunch of level 5 million people jumping around in their power armor felt different than it did at this time last year.
Yeah.
There were the newer players, there were the other guys who had been there forever, and there was this very broad expanse, and of course everything died immediately. Last year it was a little bit more of a, okay, let's get together and fight these things, and like it kind of felt like most of the time you didn't even have to do anything. You could just be there, and some people were, so they just kind of go idle and just collect stuff every time it popped, you know?
Yes, the AFK disease.
Yeah, that felt a little weird, but the people who were active, I felt were super nice. I mean, there were people dropping extra masks because they already had them, and they were like, "Here, take my extra masks." And people just in chat, like talking, making friends, and then of course the one female, the one woman on chat who is actually using chat pipes up, and then of course all the guys are like, "Ooh, it's a lady," and then they all start like talking to her, and that happens. So those are some of my anecdotes from the time. I also enjoyed putting my camp like right there, like real close to it, and selling things and kind of making some money off of just like the traffic in the area, and also being able to fast travel back to it real quick. I don't know if you guys had a similar plan.
Yeah, we had 2 people in our group that set up near there and did the same exact thing. They were selling stuff out of the vendor, some of the extra masks and plans and stuff.
Yeah.
Last year I set up near there, and I was building like this little jazz club. Like I was like getting like little candles on tables and these like red velvet chairs, lighting. And there was this one, it had to be a kid of some sort that was like maybe level 15 that was like, I just got this power armor. I'll bet you 5 caps if I put on this power armor and jump on your floor, I'll break it. I was like, all right, I'll take the bet.
All right, buddy.
It's one of the best like random person interactions that I've had, of just like somebody walking up being like, hey, what are you doing? I just got this power armor.
That's so weird. Why would you think that would work?
It's a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he modded it with explosive vents and thought that they would actually do something other than,
I don't know. I remember that, and I always think it's funny. So whenever I think of Fosnot, I think about the kid with the power armor that's like, hey, I bet you 5 caps. I can't.
Bet you 5 caps. Break your floor. Cool kid.
Like,
cool.
Yeah. Hold my beer.
All right. Well, this week we got some news. What's in the news bucket? Is that a thing? A news bucket? Bin?
A news? Listen,
Bureau?
let me tell you.
What does the news go in? Folder?
Okay. Tom, first of all, a herald. A herald carries a trumpet. This is obviously.
Mm-hmm. But what does he keep his news in?
Okay. Now
is it like a fanny pack?
Here.
A satchel?
A satchel?
The trumpet.
Right, trumpet. And then across he's wearing something with the news in it, right? So he can read it?
No, he just knows the news, and he uses the trumpet to like get everybody's attention.
Oh, so he keeps the news in his noggin. It's a news noggin.
It's a news noggin.
Welcome to the news noggin.
Like a news accessory belt, like Batman.
Yeah. What if I just had like an accessory belt for different instruments to tell you? Guess what? There's news. This week in the news. First thing that kind of almost came as a surprise, and I'm sure it's something that they've been working on at Big Bethesda, is two-factor authentication on Bethesda accounts. So you can go online, change your account to have the essentially the two-factor authentication, which I encourage every single one of you to do. And on any of your accounts, even if you can do it, do it. It's getting easier and easier to do that. With all of the different technology coming out, you can really get some good security on your accounts, especially PC players.
This is all very big news for Dave, being that he's 7 years in the past.
Yeah.
Related to this was also the people thought when the servers went down and everyone was kind of panicking, it was the same day the two-factor authentication came out, and it actually had nothing to do with Bethesda. It actually was games wide. I think it was an Amazon Web Services issue, but a bunch of games were down, not just Bethesda. People for a while thought that it was something that got screwed up enabling that, but it was not.
Right. When AWS, which is the Amazon Web Services, when those go down in general, that could affect PSN. That could affect because
everybody uses them. That is the go-to hosting for everything.
Right. Because it's so inexpensive. And they have such a
and
capacity.
It's generally up all the time. That's the other thing. Right. Is it's rare.
And all of your private servers and public servers are all run off of AWS. I'm 99% sure they've actually specifically stated that every time you do a private server that boots up an AWS instance, and then you run off of that. So get that two-factor authentication so your account doesn't get hacked and you get banned, or you lose all your caps, or they stole all of your leather legs. Couldn't think of a good thing for that.
Leather legs, because that's what people steal.
That's what they steal. Is they want my leather chaps. They're assless. All right. Patch 20. Some different news with that. They have kind of modified what they are putting into patch 20, and so they sent out essentially they put a bunch of stuff into the PTS, which they've got back up and running again, and they decided to hold back on doing the legendary perk system because there were some issues with I'm pretty sure how those are upgraded or how many you can have. Isn't that correct?
I think in general, it was a wide variety of community feedback. I think for the most part, the legendary perk systems underwhelmed people. And then some of the ways that they were implemented, people weren't really happy with that either. So they got a significant amount of PTS feedback on those, to the point that they decided to table it and tweak it and then release it later with some more feedback from the community. But that was actually really positive, that as opposed to roll it out and have it be underwhelming for everybody, that they listened and are making some tweaks.
The things that are included in patch 20, one of them is introducing the public team function, which they went into detail with Inside the Vault, so you can go really find all of your information in depth for a lot of this on Inside the Vault. But essentially, when you log into a world, you can essentially create a public team, which once you do that, you can set a priority for it. It could be, hunting, roleplay, events, exploration, building, or just like a casual situation. And then it classifies what team you have. But then if you set a classification for your team, you get bonuses, depending not only on what you've classified it as, but for how many people you have in your team online.
I just have to say, casual situation sounds like an innuendo also.
It's just a casual public team.
Why can't it be both?
Casual situation.
Casual, It even has a little martini glass beside its
Hey, I'm having some people over on Friday night for a casual situation.
Team and chill, baby.
Yeah. You want to join?
So what do you guys think about this?
I think the teaming system is fantastic. I know a lot of PVE players and role playing groups are really looking forward to something like that. I think it also starts to build a little bit more in-game community. In the early days, when area chat was always on, you had the ability to, hear somebody talking over there, and you'd go over and introduce yourself and say hello. And in the early days when the game was like that, that's how I met a lot of the players that I still even play with today. Since we don't really have that so much, and a lot of people don't even bother using area chat now, because you hear potato chips and dogs barking.
Yeah.
Some couple ordering pizza and talking about who was tying up who. That was a real thing that happened one night.
It's a casual situation. Yeah.
It's a casual situation.
I think name of this podcast, A Casual Situation.
It'll be a good way to.
That's a funny conversation to have while somebody's playing a game. Anyway, go on.
It was hilarious. I think I still have the video somewhere. I saved it. You get people to kind of nudge them towards building friendships in the game. So it's a nice way to get players who have been discovering the single player aspect of Wastelanders, which they can only go so far with, and then starts to nudge them into connecting with communities and making friends and building teams. It gives them a reason to keep coming back.
I like that it frames the purpose of the group.
Yeah.
So that you know right off the bat, oh, these people are collecting stuff together. I'll go do that. These people are doing events together. I'll go do that. It gives you a reason for looking for something and for joining, rather than just putting something out into the world and say, hey, is anybody doing this? Yeah. I like that. It makes it easier to connect with other people.
On my day-to-day play, I think my favorite way to interact with multiplayer is if I do an event and there's somebody else there, and then we both go to the next event that's over there, and then we like chain these events together, and then it's like they're doing the follow me emote, and it's almost then the team kind of forms, and it's like
we have something in common.
Over that time it becomes natural. With this, it's like, okay, I can be a part of this event group, and I know that I'm going to run these events. It's more, you don't have to go through this whole rigmarole of like, do they like me? I don't know if they like me or not. Like
you know right away if you're getting into a casual event or not. A casual
situation.
It keeps coming back round to
Yeah. That's what this is all about, really.
I'm curious what the discoverability is going to be. So like events and I think are pretty self-explanatory. Casual situations, though, who knows? But what does if you're joining a building group or a role play group? Like, I think that would be cool if you're at a workshop and you're a part of, like, you join a building group and then we're all like everybody gets together and then it's like, oh, now we're all playing Legos. Like,
yeah. From
that perspective, that could be an interesting way. And then random people joining a role play group, I think would be interesting. Of like, oh, what kind of situation can I get into here?
Yeah, probably not a casual one.
I wish we all need a casual situation every once in a while.
Every once in a while, it's just natural,
right?
Speculation. Don't wake up with a case of the scorched.
Yeah, you want to be careful not to get the scorched.
Make
sure you're vaccinated.
Stay safe.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of like the role player thing. You can kind of like, like if I go hang out with these people, they're all going to be in game as characters. This'll at the worst, this will at least be funny. Like at the best, this may be awesome. Maybe we're all being our characters and having fun together, and then you make friends and you're like, hey, let's do this again.
Yeah. And then you kind of know, like you start associating that, first you shake their hand and then you learn where they're from. And then as we go on, the other thing that is coming with patch 20 is the introduction of seasons, which we've talked a little bit about. But we haven't really gone into much depth on, I think the score system is something we haven't talked about in particular.
We have not.
We have not. So with each season, it seems like that there will be a almost separate. To me, it seems like, and you all may have some different takes on this. It seems like a separate leveling guide, almost like your like a lot of things have like your season levels. So like if you play Diablo 3, they have like a season level that you attain. This seems like it is associated with that. in some respects. It's interesting because what they're doing and a lot of these things that they're doing, they're taking bits and pieces from different live games and kind of making them their own. They're not fully copying something. And so it's hard to interpret what a lot of this is going to be because I mean, a live game is not fully original, but some of the stuff that they are doing and going through the way that like the execution, I think, is very original for them.
I love the
So
like a board game concept. The way that was visualized with Captain Cosmos is really cool.
right. So let's see here. Reading about scores. If you complete daily and weekly challenges, they will increase your score and rank up. So the challenges are going to stay. There's many ways that you can earn score points. And I think let's see. There's significant changes to the daily, weekly challenges, right? But they're more straightforward and easier to read, right? So they're going to be there. That's how you're going to earn your score points. And I think that would be interesting because I've always enjoyed the option of kind of chasing that, but it seems like that they're going to be more in a forefront that you're going to look at when you log into the game. You're going to start recognizing it becomes part of like not necessarily grind, but the one thing that I did like about some of the challenges is they took you to different places in the map and gave you different activities that you normally wouldn't do.
Right.
And made you, it made the experience a little bit fresher. I thought it continued to, it challenged you from the normal, let's say, farming or for legendaries or whatever kind of loot run you were doing. It kind of mix that up, but there wasn't a lot of reward originally for him. But now with the score system and how it relates to your progression through the season, what do you call the board? What is there like
the board game?
The game
of life.
I mean, it is okay.
Casual.
So a casual situation board game. It does look like the game of life. Let's be honest.
It is.
It's pretty much the game of life.
You've got like the little blocks and you kind of move through. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you all think? Are you all excited for this? What's your take on all this?
I think it's fun. I think taking daily challenges is basically what this is. Taking daily challenges and putting it into a format that is themed and a fun thing you can watch yourself go through. It makes it more fun. It makes it more forward. It makes it, you can relate to other people. How far are you in the thing? Oh, I'm 7 steps in. I already unlocked this thing. Oh, cool. I need to do that. I don't know. It makes it more of a focus. And for something that is going to be creating regular reasons to come back to the game once you've done all the quests, once you've made your own fun out of it, it's another reason to chase something. And I know for a fact that when I play games, I play them differently than, say, somebody like my wife. My wife wants to collect everything. She's very much a completionist collector. So to have something like this to kind of guide you through the system and make sure that you pick up everything by doing all the things you're supposed to do is way more effective for somebody who plays games like she does and way more enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me the way that the interaction with the board works. It's like when McDonald's used to do the Monopoly game, where you get the Monopoly board, and then with every purchase, like whenever you got something, you get this like little sticker, so you get a prize, but it gets added to your board. This is kind of like that. So as you progress along the board, you unlock different things like camp items or skins or things like that, and you're working your way through to the final goal, which is probably going to be a cool something if you're going to work your way through. There was, as usual, a bit of anti-Bethesda uproar in the beginning when it was thought that this was going to be like a pay-to-win kind of paid battle pass scenario. So the YouTube rage lords who make six figures on
Call the enemy by their names.
YouTube rage lords.
Call them by their names.
So they came out with these videos where it's like this profanity-laced tirade that's against Bethesda. And of course, Bethesda clarified their position that no, this is free content. It's always going to be free. If you want to progress further and you can't dedicate a few hours or so a day to make your way through, you have the option of doing that. So, yeah.
Joke's on you, fools.
Yeah, they're the ones cashing the checks though. So,
Right. This isn't no pay to win. You know what this is? Casual situation.
it's a casual situation. Do you think you get points for joining a casual situation? That might be one of the things. Join an RPG group, join a casual situation.
I think you could probably make a tally.
Yeah, that's true. Track that in the stats.
Put it on the headboard of your pink princess bed from the Atomic Shop.
Yeah. All right.
Another conquest. Another workshop claimed.
Otherwise, I think the system works pretty well.
Yeah.
Did you want to note something about rewards? Is there something to note about new info that came out about that?
It's not new, but let's see. I don't think it's new, but I mean, as you progress through the board, you gain the different camp items, costumes, cosmetics, that kind of stuff that you would find in the Atomic Shop. Let's see. So eventually you'll get power armor paints, some gold bullion. Bullion is really fun to say, just like doubloon.
Yeah.
So I wonder when they'll bring in the doubloons, just like bullion. Now, when I played Sid Meier's Pirates as a kid, I would name my pirate Davy Doubloon. That was my pirate name. So if I ever go on to a life of piracy, you'll know me by my legendary pirate name.
That's a very scary pirate name.
Davy Doubloon. Sounds like I could be in a really cheesy 80s movie. Anyways, so they show off in this article some of the different skins, unlocks, things you're able to get, like this fireplace that's a door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. And at the end of the season, if you reach rank 100, you'll get a bundle of items. So it's like a big celebration. It looks like you've got Captain Cosmos Monkey Bierstein. You get a poster of the board game itself, and you get a Galaxy strobe. That's not strobe. I wouldn't say it's a moving ball in which it illuminates constellations in your room.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like then I need to set up not a TLC, what a QVC. The TLC is like Chip and Joanne tear down the house, the Property Brothers. QVC, where they have, I need to have like little pictures. I need to bring little pictures and like show it off.
Now I've got Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls in my head.
As far as news, let me go back to my news. I believe that is it.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the rewards side of it. Everybody just wants the cool skins and the cool items, right? Like that's really the reason to do it.
Right.
And it's something to work towards, and you're denoted by the amount of time you put into it, and you didn't have to pay. Like you don't have to pay. This isn't pay to. The game can be pay to look cool, but this isn't that. So
yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's going to be great. I think it's a good reason to jump in and keep playing. And I hope some of the future themes are really cool too. Like we get like a Grognak board. We get like, it would be cool to have like even like an Enclave board or like that kind of stuff show up, and then all of a sudden like, and even have the theme around the things you have to be tied to the board. So maybe you're doing more nefarious stuff if you're unlocking things for the Enclave board or a Raider board, and you need to be doing more PvP and that kind of thing.
I want a Mistress of Mystery Chutes and Ladders where you take secret passages to the next stage.
That would be really cool. That would be.
They did say that they were going to theme each of these seasons, so that's going to be it's going to be cool to see what they come out with for different boards.
Yeah, I think that I'm looking forward to that. I especially like the artwork and the things they do around that.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I dig it. I think it's very creative. And I'm about playing some board games. I get very vicious.
All about those board games.
Mm-hmm.
Fierce competitor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So I've been working on this thing. You know how we're running out of food and stuff in the vault, and we're still all isolated in our own rooms, and we still can't get out of here. So I figured I would try to.
I need Triscuits and cheese like yesterday.
Yeah. So
I only have limoncello LaCroix. And
I'm so sorry.
How did you bring those in here with you? It's been like months, and you didn't even tell us you had those.
I know a smuggler.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Guys. I think I may have hacked into, I don't know, some sort of network that is not like isolated to the vault. Maybe I can get us some groceries. I don't know. Here, let me pull up what I've got here. All right, check this out.
Yo, no, dude, you nuked me. You nuked me. You were supposed to nuke them. Why did you? Frickin' day. That's the 15th game in a row he's nuked me.
I don't think he can see us though. Is that Kevduit?
I think so.
I think you're on the wrong channel, Tom.
Wait, who are you guys?
Hey, it's us. It's the Fallout Hub guys. How's it, Kev?
Are you the guy that nuked me?
No. We've
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no. I guess we hacked into your stream. Is that?
Wow.
Is that possible?
That's a pretty hefty thing to admit there. Wow.
I think with the power of the vault, we can do anything that we set our mind to.
Yeah, you don't.
We have just committed an FCC violation, but it's fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm good with it.
So while we've got you, do you sell groceries? You deliver groceries? Is that a thing?
I got a cup of coffee and I got maybe some Narnia movies if you want to.
Dude,
Can you
hell
eat them?
yeah.
That's
Oh.
neat.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, since we've got you here, we're all fans of your content. We think
Hell yeah.
you do cool stuff. You mind if we ask you some questions? And so you want to be on? We're actually in the middle of recording a podcast. You want to join us?
Oh yeah. No, for sure. I'm playing with these brain dead morons anyways. I might as well take some time to blow off some steam.
Yeah. Tell them. Screw you guys. I'm
You
leaving,
guys screw
or whatever.
off. I'm gonna go record a podcast.
A porgcast.
Podcast.
It's a new Star Wars thing with those little birds.
Podcast. It's what's for dinner.
Don't eat the porgs. It makes them sad. Well, welcome to the show. Hey, so one of the things we do when we have guests on our show, I don't know if you've heard of the show, but we do a thing where we ask you 12 questions. I'm not going to go through the silly explanation, but we ask you 12 questions to begin with, and then we let you know what your the job thing. God, words don't work today. What's the job thing?
I'm not going to go through the explanation.
not-
I don't even know the word for a job.
It's not GEC. What is it? It's the test.
It's a goat.
Goat. Oh, words are not working for me. Okay, so we're going to give you some questions here. Are you ready? It's just quick fire, 12 questions. Just go with whatever your first answer is, and we're going to see what turns out.
Yeah,
How's
let's
that
go
sound?
for it.
All right, so question number 1. If you were a super mutant, what would your name be?
Oh, that would have to be Bartholomew for sure.
That's a very complex name for a super mutant.
Yeah.
How would you say that if you were to say I am Barth? How would you say that?
Bartholomew. Something like
Very
that.
nice. Very nice.
I believe it.
Very good.
I believe it.
Oh yeah.
Question 2. How high can you jump?
Cool. Probably like with marsupial. Oh man, like 20 feet. It's great.
Okay. Question number 3. Flying cars or hovercrafts?
Flying cars, definitely.
Question number 4. Would you rather live 3 lives as 3 different people or 1 life that's 3 times longer than normal?
3 times longer than normal. 100%.
And why is that?
Well, because then I would actually get to see. Wait. Now I got to rephrase my question. Because is it like when I die, I get to jump into a new person, or
Yeah. You're reborn as a new person.
Oh, but okay, so that means that no, I'm gonna do the 3 different lives thing then.
Okay, but why? What?
Just because I don't know. If you got 3 different people, you can experience 3 different places, 3 different time frames. Be good.
Okay. All right. Number 5. Why is it that zombies don't lose their pants?
Oh, playing Fallout, there's a lot of pantless zombies.
That's true. But like in
yeah.
typical zombie movies, how did they keep their pants on?
Belts.
Everybody just had really tight belts when they
Everyone's
died.
got belts on.
Everybody's like, before I die, let me just rip it up.
I don't want to die embarrassed. Yeah.
I'm just gonna tighten this around my bone structure.
Yeah.
Number 6. You forgot Father's Day, and the only gifts left are a match, a shoe, and a paperclip. Which do you give to your dad?
Oh, a match. He would love that. 100%. Little survivalist.
Okay. Number 7. Which vault would you send your worst enemy to live in?
Wasn't there a vault where they would just continuously testing different diseases on them, like throughout like year? I'm trying to remember what vault that was.
I don't remember the number. I've done episodes on like all the vaults, but yes, there was one of them.
Yeah, that one. The disease one sounds good.
Just give you lots of diseases.
Might as well.
Number 8. How many glasses of water do you drink per day?
Oh, that'd probably be like, I don't know, 8 to 10. I don't drink a ton.
No, that's probably a good number. That's good. Number 9, you're stuck in one of those dreams where you have to give a speech in front of the whole school, but you're in your underwear. But instead of in your underwear, you're in a hot dog costume. What do you say next?
Oh, dude, I could have the best hot dog promo ever. Like, just like do a straight up Heinz commercial right in front of everyone. That'd be great.
Perfect. Number 10, we're getting close to the end. A major cigarette company is rebranding and wants to use your face as the logo. Do you agree? And if so, how much do you charge them for the rights?
Oh, dude, I would just gouge them at that point. If they're asking for my face, I'm gonna just ask straight up for 100 million. You know, let's go for the big numbers.
Number 11. If you had to go live in a video game, which one would it be?
I know a lot of people say Fallout, and I'm like, why? Why would you?
That would be terrible.
It would be awful.
Everything ends terribly for everybody.
It does. It's awful. Yeah, you're probably gonna be one of the zombies. I would say Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think that'd be a kind of a fun world to be in.
Nice.
Until the giant spider creatures, of course.
Until that comes after you.
Yeah. And then the last question: what the F is going on?
Everything and nothing. Insanity.
Very good. All right, let me put I'm going to put all this into the computer here, and we'll see what it comes out with. Okay, so congratulations. You are perfectly suited for being a lumberjack. Congrats.
Wow. Oh, that's actually what I was going for. I'm happy with that, you know?
Well, good. Yeah. Good. Wow. Awesome.
That's a good, solid answer,
yeah. Yeah. Lumberjack. There's not too many of those anymore, huh? I guess not.
How does this... Okay. I don't know how to equate to a lumberjack in the end, but...
Who knows? It's the secrets of the vault.
Don't question the system. Listen, this is really tried and true. Don't question it.
I shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
One does not simply question Vault-Tec.
No, they do not. Or they go to the disease vault. That's what happens, man.
So, thanks for deciding to be okay with us hacking into your system to join us on the podcast.
Totally.
I totally decided.
I know a lot of our audience probably already knows who you are, but can you give us a little intro and tell everybody what you do and where they can see your stuff? Like, what are you into lately? That kind of thing.
Oh, wow. So for those that don't know who I am, Kevduit, I'm a YouTuber at heart, Twitch streamer. I don't know if that's at heart as well. You can find me just by looking up Kevduit simply. I do like just any sort of comedy content, lots of commentary driven stuff, and just a lot of montagey stuff, just kind of videos to kick back and chill with. That's for the most part, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you've been playing a lot of 76. Have you been doing other stuff too?
Yeah, kind of like now that like the Wasteland is kind of dwindling a little bit, I'm kind of heading out into to the newer games and all that stuff. But mostly Fallout content.
Cool. What other games have you jumped into?
Tarkov, Sea of Thieves, anything that gets my blood boiling, where I just want to like stop streaming immediately when I lose, that kind of stuff.
Ah, nice. I haven't tried out Tarkov yet. I've watched people play it. I did jump back into Sea of Thieves recently. Specifically because the newest podcast on our network is called Keelhauled, and it's a Sea of Thieves podcast.
Oh, sweet.
And once I started talking to them and we started working out them being on the network, I was like, I haven't played that in a while. I need to play that again. So I play it with my son. Yeah. So it's fun to be a pirate. Is that? Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's cross console, which is fantastic. So you get a chance to play with like most of the podcast casts. We've been playing that. That's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's solid.
It is a lot of fun. It's fun to just be a pirate sometimes and just hang out on a boat. Talking pirate things. Arr, hoist the mainsail.
The best part is the proximity voice chat. So when you come close to another ship, you can start screaming at them. You can start yelling. You're going to go after them and just give them a good spook.
Yeah. Very, very true. So you do content on YouTube and streaming content. How did you start? Which did you start with?
Definitely the YouTube side of things, because I didn't even realize Twitch streaming or streaming in general was like a deal until probably 3, maybe 4 years into my YouTube career. Yeah, so like definitely started with the YouTube side of things.
Man, for a second there, you thought this would be a Fallout 4 video, huh? Yeah, you were pretty wrong now, weren't you? That's Tom Nook?
Yeah, man.
I thought he was dead.
Why would you think that?
The war.
Yo, if you want like some sick health buffs, just take a sip of the punch bowl, dude.
How do I take off this shirt and flex my pecs?
I'm just gonna come down here. All right, kitty. You stay calm, okay? Gotcha. Oh!
Okay, so usually people will want to play Master Chief right off the bat, but not me. I play Super Mario.
That is so cool, man. Look at that. The Emperor has asked you to do the worst of deeds? What does that mean? I don't understand. Nothing's happening.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them.
Nope, this is not okay. Whoa, wait a minute. Double high five. Boom!
The savage beast had the audacity to ask who I was. Obviously, I am Lucario.
I have a feeling that's not very good.
Whoa, what?
All right, I think he's going down. I think, oh, there they go. Okay, that's not what I was expecting to have happen.
How long ago was that?
That was beginning of 2012, actually. So almost 8 years.
Wow.
Which I think September 3rd was my gaming channel. And what a lot of people don't know is January was when I created a music channel that if you searched very hard, you could still find that on YouTube.
Yeah. Is it your own music?
Yeah. I used to write a lot of my own. Like I could play the piano, the drums, and then the ocarina, which is just kind of an obscure instrument.
Of course.
Kind of a
classic trio.
Classic ocarina in there. And I used to like write songs and then I'd slap it online. And actually it did pretty well. And then it just completely died off and I never got any viewers after that point. And I'm like, I'm just gonna swap to gaming here real quick.
Oh no. Yeah, I used to tour in a band. Dave plays music, you can tell, or at least it looks like he plays music.
Oh yeah, I was.
He just likes to keep the guitars in the background.
No, these are all props. They're just props. That's it.
You go up and touch them, and they're like paper mache.
They're just like they're just paper. Like they're painted on there. That's what they are. You know.
Oh yeah, kind of stickers. You know.
Yeah, big stickers.
Yeah,
I'm into that sticker life. I subscribe to the sticker life.
It smells like a guitar.
Yeah.
So when you started doing game content, what games were you focusing on? Was it just kind of a general channel, or were you focused on specific games?
It was like mostly Minecraft, because that was at the time what everybody was into. It seemed like if you played Minecraft, you could get somewhere if you bought views, which I didn't do. But I wanted to be that. So I was like a lot of Minecraft, and then like if a new game came out. So I remember Titanfall, any of the Far Cry titles. Watch Dogs actually did very well on my channel, even though like it hadn't. I only probably had about 300 subscribers around the time Watch Dogs came out. For some reason, it got a lot of attention during that time. So kind of mostly Minecraft and then variety on the side.
Cool. Yeah. I don't. I have multiple thoughts about all those games, but I'm not going to derail us into other game stuff. So, so you talk about like 300 subscribers at that time. What year was that? Was that still 2012, 2013?
Oh no, I wasn't that successful. I think I got 300 subscribers in 3.5 years. It was pretty bad. It took
quite the grind. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's many moments where I was like, I think I need to put this down. I think it was right when I was at 350. I either had to kind of, sink or swim, and I had to make a big decision at that point because I was ready to go to college and stuff. So, yeah.
So what kept you going? Obviously you continued with it. How did you persevere? There are a lot of people who would, after 3.5 years of creating content on YouTube, who would throw in the towel. That's 100 subscribers a year. That's like,
it's like $1 now, or
it's really not that. Considering what a lot of people's dreams are when they start creating full-time YouTube content. Like they have these crazy dreams of like, I'm going to hit 100,000 subscribers in the first year, and it's like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Of course you would. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was, I think there was like a lot of factors that kept me going. Like, obviously there was times when I'm sitting there and I'd upload a video and I'd get like 10 views in a week. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, why am I doing this? But I think the major factor that really helped contribute to me actually not just giving up the go there was just not dreaming, I think. Yeah. And I know it sounds kind of
just giving up.
Give up your dreams.
Give up my dreams. Just keep making content, but I don't care.
Them. No, that's the thing. Like I think I saw other streamers and YouTubers, and I'm like, I know $20,000 months, and all that crazy stuff. And I just saw that. I'm like, I don't care about the money, or I don't care about the whatever the fame that comes with it, because I know that there's always downsides to that sort of stuff. And I just wanted to do it for fun. And I think without having any goals, which is another really depressing thing to say, but like I didn't have a goal with it. I just was like, you know what? I'm working off to the side. I was working at some terrible vineyard. Trust me, it's a terrible job. Kind of like, making money where I knew I couldn't make money on YouTube yet. I was like, okay, if I'm going to push YouTube and like have only 100 subscribers, that's not a smart decision, because I'm making 5 cents a month, right? So it's like,
and that was back when you didn't need 1,000 subscribers to even be monetized.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, things have changed, man.
So what was terrible about the vineyard? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know the vineyard story.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, were you picking grapes, or were you like serving wine to like snotty people?
So a lot of people are like, oh, did you like stomp on the grapes? I'm like, yeah, because that's what we do in 2015.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. No, so basically there's a vineyard only about 5 minutes from where I live. Huge. It's up on a kind of like a big hill. So basically, the stories of like when I was young, I had to walk uphill to school both ways. This is kind of what the vineyard was like.
Yeah.
It was, the rows were probably half a kilometer long each, and it was just up this huge steep hill, and then you'd walk down it, and then up the rows, and not just picking grapes. Like I was there from the very beginning, so there was still snow up there, and the first task would be like you'd rip vines, the old vines out, and the problem is that they'd whip you in the face almost every single time. So I came home looking like I just got into a knife fight. Like it just, the whole face was scarred and shredded. My clothes would be totally ripped up. I mean, it was awful. And I was the only worker there besides the co-boss, who kind of just oversaw. He's the overseer. He didn't really do a whole lot. So it was just me just sitting out there in the vineyard. It was rough.
I have this romantic idea about this like really, really shitty jobs we did before we went into a new job, or even people still working those shitty jobs. Because man, I've done some weird jobs of doing strange things. Like I was a French waiter. I'm not French. I wore a beret. I had and then everyone.
Did you speak French? Did you do like a French accent?
All the people that came up to eat, they were like, "Oh, can you speak some French?" I'm like, "I took Spanish in high school." No. So,
you didn't like Pepe Le Pew then?
I wish, but the owners of the restaurant were actually French, so if I did that, I'm pretty sure I'd be fired.
You were like,
and I got fired. And I got fired.
Filet mignon, yes, it's a specialty.
There was one time we did serve baby pigeons, and I was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "It's a delicacy." I'm like, "Jesus Christ! All right, fine."
Yeah, most delicacies just prove that the aristocracy is heartless.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, it was funny, as my wife actually worked for a fancy French restaurant as well. She was in late high school and college.
We probably worked together.
Let's get back to somehow you guys work together? That's weird.
Probably, yeah.
Do you speak French?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I can say bonjour. Trust me, French. I can't learn other languages. I just 3 years required in Canada to learn French, and I got nothing out of it. I'm so bad at other languages.
Yeah, me too. So let's get back to YouTube. When did your channel really start picking up? When did you notice that like you were gaining momentum?
So that would have been 2015. 2015. It was around the beginning of the summer, and I basically was faced with a choice because my channel was sitting at about, like I said, like 350 subscribers or whatever, and it wasn't like I had no videos over over 5,000 views. Like in 3 years, I could not even get a video over 5,000 views. It was just I felt really kind of like drained of it, and I felt like I had to make a choice at this point, that even though I loved making videos, like it was all about, you know, creating the content for me, not really getting the views. I realized that if I didn't work hardcore and make money, I couldn't go to college, you know. And I think when I was watching my YouTube channel kind of just sit there, it's kind of stagnant, I was like, you know what, it's either I give this up, or you know, or something happens, like something miraculously happens, and it just takes off. And it's exactly what happened. I ended up I said a little prayer, send it off. A month later, my channel took off with Elder Scrolls Online, and all of a sudden I was making enough on YouTube to actually go to college. And yeah, it was just like that. 1 month made all the difference in the world. It was either.
What are the names of these YouTube gods that we need to pray to, and what kinds of sacrifices do they require?
Writing this down. I think the gods are forsaken people. Things are probably different now, I imagine.
I just went out back and sacrificed a goat. No, it was interesting because it was that month, right? Like it was either I had that sort of I don't know what the word is for it, but like 1 month. I had a time frame, and it was like if something doesn't happen, I'm done. I'm just gonna. Nobody knows who I am right now, anyways. If I just slipped out the back door, nobody knows, right? And that month, yeah, everything changed at that point. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah. Can you connect that to any changes that you made? Did you start making? You mentioned Elder Scrolls Online. Did you just start focusing on a different game, and all of a sudden that gained more traction? Were you making better quality videos? Were you engaging with the community in a different way? Like, what else could you attribute that to? Do you think?
You know, when I look back to it, I don't know. Like, I really, like, that's why I'm saying it was something just crazy out of the blue, because I didn't change how I made videos. I didn't change my commentary. Like, that's one thing that, like, I never wanted to change, like, who I am as a content creator. I never want to change my style. Like, I always want to be who I am from the very beginning to the very end. And it's like, the dumb thing is that Elder Scrolls Online was horrendously hated. Like unpopular to like that was when it was like first coming out, and everybody just hated the game because it was so bad.
That great yet. Yeah,
subscription based, like it was awful. And so I just quickly picked up. They had copies for $5 because nobody wanted to play the game, and it had a 3-month subscription when the subscription was still there. So I activated it 3 months before it went like subscription free. So I got the edge on everyone. And I just made a random video. It was terrible, but it was actually terrible. Like I was just goofing around in the game, and for some reason it got traction. Like it was the first time I'd ever made an Elder Scrolls video, and it gained traction. It was just insane.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So, you've been in the content creation stuff with YouTube for a while now. So how do things compare to the way YouTube works now compared to the way back then? Do you notice any differences?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It changes every month. Every week it feels like. The biggest difference I can
I've heard a few of Kevduit's really frustration.
Oh yeah. I get frustrated at YouTube, just the way they run things. Like right now it's all about buying promotions, because like when Google and YouTube kind of became a thing, like versus back in the day, and I was talking to a Minecraft YouTuber, actually has like 2.3 million subscribers, and I was saying like how did you guys get this? And he's like, some of them grew up legit because they grew up and grew because of the other ones who were actually buying views and buying subscribers. And he said what they would do back in the day, because you couldn't get caught as easily, you would buy just millions of views, and then once the millions of fake views started translating to real views, then you would like stop buying views, and that's how people would grow.
Right.
Now that they've caught on to that, nowadays what you do is you buy promotions, and that's how you grow your channel now. And so for me, I've never done any of this stuff. And so it can be really hard because I've always wanted to just grow a genuine channel without having like, you know, a million views from people that like saw your advertisement, but they're not really watching your video for you. That you're just kind of a side thing. You're the the opening band, right?
Yeah, it seems very temporary.
It is 100% temporary. That's why like so many people they grow off of one thing and then they totally sink. Like you notice that like maybe 5% of the Minecraft YouTubers who had all those millions of subs maybe made it and decided to go to Fortnite to take that steam instead of just pushing Minecraft because that's all they knew was popular, right?
Right.
And so for me, I feel like I'm kind of like on the sidelines watching all this happen because I've never really like dabbled with like I'm gonna pay $3,000 for a month of promo or whatever, right?
Sure.
And that's what YouTube definitely.
I think most people who legitimately care about their content and legitimately care about the games and the community want to be legit. Like that's right. Like that's the goal, is like create something that's real, actually engage with the community, because I mean, ultimately, maybe you make more money if you do it the other way, but you're not. Like once that comes out and people are like, oh, well, you cheated the system, you're no longer authentic in the eyes of your viewers.
Well, like where does that translate to in the end? Like all this money that people have put into this stuff typically ends up in the viewers. They'll stick around for a bit, but like they're not like, you know what? You could have like I always say, like the Fallout community and the Kevduit community, which I want to keep very, very separate. I want to have Fallout people enjoy my content, but I never want to say that we are one and the same, right? And that's what I feel like a lot of people will do with those kind of like paid, advertisements, right? Like you saw their advertisement on the video of one of your favorite YouTubers. So you went over to check them out. And you know what? They're not really your community. They're from the other community, just kind of watching you because, you're temporary, you're trending, right? And you're going to lose all that.
On the escalator.
Yeah.
The other community.
The other community.
So at some point you made a transition over to Twitch.
Yep.
When did that start?
That would have been 2016. When did Rothgar come out? Maybe it was the end of 2015. Yeah, 2015. I started streaming because some people were saying like, oh, we want to see you do your stuff live because, well, there's like two sides of the community. One of them was like, we don't actually believe you. We believe you're a hacker. Because I was spending so much time on the game that I got pretty good. And people were like, "You're hacking."
No, that happens. That is a legit thing that happens. You get good enough at something, and people can't believe that you're that good. And then, back in the day, like I'm talking like 2004 with like Counter-Strike Source, I was actually okay enough at the game that like that would happen. People would be like, oh, kick this guy, he's a hacker. And I'm like, no, dude, I can hear your footsteps. I just turned the sound up. Like,
but Tom, you are a hacker. You hacked into the stream again.
Well, I am now.
That's why he's not believable right now.
Yeah, nobody's going to trust me ever again. But then again, you look at how well I play games online when I do stuff, and you're going to have no doubt that I'm not hacking because it's not that good.
Yeah.
So what was that transition like? Did like you're used to? So first of all, you have a very different setup, right? In a YouTube video, you're predetermining everything. You're recording the content. You're voicing over it, or you're talking to a camera. That setup is very different. When you're streaming, that's live, and it's. I mean, if you spend 2 hours, 3 hours on a video, that's time that you can split up. You can do it at your own pace. When you're streaming, you're live in front of people and you got to keep the energy up. Like, what was that like for you?
So I would usually lose my voice about 2 hours into the stream every single time in 3 hour stream. So I was totally like just can't even talk by that point. And and people didn't like it. I got a lot of hate on Reddit because people don't realize that when you edit a video for YouTube, it's not unedited. They just think, this is I'm going into his stream expecting those fine cuts and a joke every single second, and just people have these high expectations of YouTubers on Twitch, which is why Markiplier at 20 million subscribers on YouTube pulls about 3,000 viewers when he streams on Twitch, because people don't see that side of the YouTuber very much, and that's why it's typically easier to translate like the other way around. But yeah, no, it was rough because like it was rough for about the first year because I couldn't break that mold of people just and their expectations of what I should be on Twitch. Everybody wanted to be who their other favorite ESO streamers were. And I think that really that was rough for me because like a lot of them wouldn't talk to their audience. A lot of them would play the game. Basically, it was the whole dynamic of like, we want to see you play, but we don't want to hear you talk at all. Like, don't speak, don't commentate, don't make jokes, keep this serious. And that's kind of like what the audience was. And I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, so. I from my perspective as a Twitch consumer and also streamer, like I am not drawn to watching streams where somebody just plays and doesn't interact with chat. It doesn't make sense to me. I might as well be watching a video of somebody playing and not talking. It doesn't, like, why am I watching something live? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I totally get that whole like, well, if I'm going to be streaming, I want to like, I'm not by any means a large streamer, you know, all three of us, I'm sure, have dabbled in things like that. And, you know, we are podcasters first. We have some YouTube content and sometimes I stream. And the reason why I stream is in order to have a chance to talk with people. It's to be social, you know, like, so did you find that was true for you too, that eventually it shifted?
Yeah, so like the whole year was me basically battling those people. Like that's all it was. It was just and I would actually pull good viewers, like because I'd come up in the ESO community so out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And within my first 2 years, not even 2 years, it was probably a year and a half, I passed every single YouTuber in subscribers that was on YouTube at the time. And numbers wise at least, which you know that can only go so far. And so people wanted to see what I was doing, you know, so they were always on my stream. And then when they would come in and I'm just enthusiastically playing the game and making jokes every 2 seconds and not really caring about if I'm good or bad or whatever. Right. It hurt for about the first year because people, even though there's about like 300 viewers a stream, like I was more successful then than I am now. And it was just basically battling these people until they started to realize that they enjoyed it. And oh
wait, this interaction thing with the streamer is actually fun. Whoa.
Who knew Twitch was for that? And so it was interesting because I battled it, and it was a hard fought battle for about a year to get people to finally be like, dang, this is actually fun. And I told people we did a test one stream, and I said, all right, because somebody made the comment at the point in one stream where people were already enjoying it, but there's still a couple people that would come in that were like I don't want to hear you talk. I just want to see you play the game. So I'm like, all right, we're going to do 5 minutes of silence. And on a stream, I mean, you know how long 5 minutes is. Like,
yeah, that feels like an eternity.
Oh, yeah. It's eternity. And I did that, and people hated it. They hated it.
It doesn't make any sense. Did you tell those people, hey, there's a mute button, just hit mute, buddy?
No, yeah, I've that was like, a comment. Yes,
just don't look at my face and hit the mute button.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, people started to enjoy it, and then I started to get more viewers from that, and that was interesting because like streaming is not my like forte. Like video editing is kind of where I think I excel at greater in the content creation center, versus streaming, I just kind of do what I want, and I'm not really like, I'm pretty go with the flow. And you know, even the other day I streamed, I think I played 5 different games in a 5-hour period of time,
which is a complete no. You're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to do that.
You're supposed to just play one game and don't change it, because everybody knows if you change games, you're going to lose half your audience.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I was like, but that's just kind of what kind of streamer I was. And, you know, it was interesting because I did eventually swap, obviously, from ESO into other games. But, you know, streaming was definitely, I definitely started to enjoy it, especially at that point when people enjoyed it more than I could enjoy it a little bit more, instead of having, you know, butt heads with everybody every 2 seconds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
So in connecting with your audience, like, talk a little bit about that. Like, what is you're talking about making personal connections with people, actually talking to them on stream, that sort of thing. You're talking about like your community, what does that really mean? Is it interacting with people on stream? Is it a Discord thing? Is it on social media? Do you have like a home base? Like, how does that work in your environment and what you've constructed?
Gotta think about that. Because when I think about my community, I just want to think about just the people that, you know, they're there if you're playing Fallout or Minesweeper, you know?
Mhm.
Like, and I wanted to create a place where those people can like connect. And I do have a Discord. So it's not a very lively Discord because, you know, because definitely I've made big game swaps. And so a lot of people like just flow out as soon as I'm out of there. But
Yeah.
connecting with my audience, you know, it's really about providing like, you know, a safe space for them, because like my channel has never been about I'm never gonna be the best Fortnite, Warzone, whatever player, right? Like I can't grow a community based off of skills, which I see a lot of people doing these days. I feel like they're there for the skill, not the streamer, right?
Right.
Or the content creator, and like even Ninja sees it now. Like it's like he's swapped to other things, and his definitely a lot of those kids have like started to dwindle out and go to the people that are still playing Fortnite or whatever. Like, you know, you just lose so much of that. I just hated that concept, you know, like just, you know, never actually having a sound community that's just there through thick and thin, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it's like they're not there for your personality. They just want to look at your boobs, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So like with streaming, I just, you know, I just want to focus so much on my viewers. Like that is it. Like I don't care like if you know, if there's a certain audience wanting to be there for a certain game, right, all the time, I can't always entertain them because I know that I'm going to lose them the minute I swap to anything else, and that's just a bad business choice at the end of the day. But it's also a bad choice for my audience who doesn't want to see me as a content creator kind of just meander on through a game that I'm, you know, whatever, you know, I'm not really passionate about. And so at the end of the day, I just want to focus on like my community, like being able to be there, relating through all the inside jokes that a community can create, because that's very important. Like having inside jokes, you know, I reference back to Jerma 985, who's one of my favorite content creators because he can do anything and people love it. Anything. And it's just, he's just so spontaneous and variety focused. And he just has this absolutely, like, obviously he's not millions and millions of people, but he has such a dedicated community of people that will be there for him through thick and thin. I'm like, yeah, it's just a family. And that's kind of what I want to focus on, is on my community, just keeping a family aspect and knowing that like I as a content creator want to be there for their entertainment and not just to make money or whatever. Right.
Yeah. It's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
Like I watch Call Me Kevin a lot, who has a massive fan base, but he does the same kind of thing where people watch. He could be playing Minesweeper or, you know, reading the newspaper or watching TV, and because he is so organically funny and connects so uniquely with his audience, he can do anything and changes around, and people follow him regardless.
Yeah.
So he's created that same kind of vibe that you're going for.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And you talking about people coming on and expecting like this like high level skill. I'm kind of going to build you up and break you down a little bit. The ESO guide videos were something that I was watching back in like 2016, 2017, around there. And that was just by discoverability of typing in ESO guides or guide like starter, like those keywords and such. But I think people get confused when they see somebody making a guide, because your guides are very accessible. They're filled with your brand of comedy, but are also from a level where you're not going too hard into it to be confusing. And people understand that and they get that. But then when they, I think, maybe watch you stream and they learn that, oh, he's not the top number one of this particular thing, then there would be that disappointment. But I think that people have to forget that maybe it's not the best. Like the people that are teaching people maybe aren't the best at the particular game. That it's maybe
100%.
their skills about really communication in general. So it's interesting that you say that that's kind of like happened to you with some of those people that are really obsessed with skill.
Yeah. If you can't do, teach, right?
Well, and if I could build on that.
Yeah, you can't do. We're just here to, there's the teardown. I built you up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's the phrase people say about it.
Like, no, that is like, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that's creating content, don't go that route. Like exactly what you said. I agree, because I did the skill thing. I actually got so good at Elder Scrolls Online PvP that like I could just fight numerous players all at the same time without breaking a sweat. I would joke through the whole time. But the problem is with skill comes exactly that audience that's there for you. They're only there to watch the skill. So when you fail, they make sure you know it. And they try to teach you, you know, this is where you went wrong. I'm like, I know where I went wrong. But the problem with the skill-based thing is that there's so much riding on your shoulders. And that is ultimately why I quit ESO, 100%. I got so... Yeah. Like it was ridiculous. I got so good at the PvP, not to float my own boat, but I was there because I wanted that. And I'm telling people, don't do that, because you get to a place where you get frustrated easily. You get very toxic. And I had this one stream. I've deleted the stream because I said something to somebody that I killed in PvP. No, they killed me in PvP. I was out there. I was not having my best time. You know, people were just so good, right? I could never keep up with these people. He was playing a cheesy class. He was just using all that kind of stuff that just could kill you in a second.
Templar?
You know what? It's in the game, whatever.
Templar.
And yeah, this guy just completely destroyed me, just decimated me. And I said something to him that hurt him so bad, live on camera, and I meant it 100% because I was so toxic at that point. And I when I said it, I bit my tongue, I apologized, and I ended the stream. I deleted the VOD, and I'm like, I gotta quit. I'm done. Like this is not who I am. Like I've actually drifted to the point of being who I'm not anymore, and that is not a good place to be. And the skill, the want to be the most skilled player because people expect that of you, it just destroyed me 100%.
It becomes toxic. Yeah. It's like an addiction, and you end up building pressure around it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 100%.
It makes a lot of sense.
You step back and you take a look at what your content is, and I've gone off the deep end of something and have, you know, gotten in that place where it's like, am I actually like putting out like joy, and not necessarily like optimism in general, but just like, am I entertaining people? And is this like what people want to watch? And the answer is probably no, that I'm not either entertaining them or I'm probably reinforcing really terrible behavior at the same time. And we all get there because we all make mistakes, but it's good to evaluate that and see where you're at and make those changes. And I mean, kudos to you for recognizing and being like, oh, you know, hey, I'm in a headspace where I shouldn't be doing this. I mean, that takes a lot.
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Yeah. So let's transition to the Fallout. When did you start playing Fallout?
So I actually played a ton of Fallout 4 when that first came out. I was still very much in the ESO scene. I tried doing a playthrough of the game. It was like not as heavily edited as my other stuff. It was still edited. Like I cut out all the boring walking in between places or whatever, and I uploaded a couple videos on that. And it didn't it didn't do very well at all. Like I was like, okay, well, you know, people in my audience aren't really interested in Fallout, so I'm just gonna kind of fix that. And it was probably around the time Fallout 76 came out. So I was in the beta. If you remember how beautiful and lively that was. I made a video just killing players. Like I dedicated my whole beta period to just killing players that had no idea what they were doing. And that video took off, and I was like, okay, so maybe I got a little bit of something going on here. And so I made some more videos, and they did actually pretty well compared to my ESO. They were rivaling my ESO stuff because ESO was also losing a ton of support because they were just making crazy changes that people didn't like, and I didn't like them either. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's try to do some Fallout stuff. And then I did one video where I nuked a level 5 player. And he was the only guy I nuked. And I launched a nuke at this kid, and that video took off. Like it took off, man. And I didn't care. I had so many people so ripped off at me. How could you do that to this poor innocent child? Was
it a kid too? Did it have voice? Could you tell it was a kid?
No, I have no idea who it was. It was just some poor little level 5. I just view those guys as little tots. You know,
I'm picturing like a little kid being like, "Oh, it's that bright thing coming down from the sky! Oh no, exactly.
I think it's interesting that there's a section of the community that sees that like, in general PvP, and they're like, "Oh, why would you do that?" But I think in content creation, sometimes as long as you know how to do it correctly without being a total asshole, it's really fun to be the heel, like in general, when it comes 100%. To like nuking a level 5 player. Like that's hyperbolic, and so that's fun. And so I get why that had so much interaction.
Oh yeah, it's still one of my most popular videos to this day, and I think that's where people were like, this guy's crazy. Like he's like, and the thing is, it's funny because so many people that hated me for that video, just hated me. They became some of my biggest supporters because they were just like, you raised your hand, Chet?
Yeah, that was the first video that I found. That's how I found you.
Yeah,
Nice.
I thought it was funny, but then like I'm a fan of Kazamati's trap camps. Every time he does a video where like he just kills people, it's his builds are so ingenious that it's just kind of funny. And you have to take it with a grain of salt. There's a difference between that and like being some kind of like toxic grief or douche.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I've had buddies get grief before. It's just awful because it's like being griefed in a sloppy fashion. That's like, it's not like if I die to a player and it's insane. Like when I die to hackers in Nuclear Winter and I see this guy flying around with a minigun, I'm like, I'm not even mad. That's kind of cool. But,
yeah, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah, it's got 50 kills. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's like, I was like, you know what? I gotta keep up with this train. So I just kept doing stupid stuff in Fallout. Like that's all I focused on was like, what is the next dumb idea that somebody can get really mad at me at? Just because like, and not like mad at me in a way that I feel guilty because I did something that dumb, but just like the people that are like kind of sensitive, like that's my audience. Like that's why I kind of want to peak because I want to get them watching so many of my videos that they eventually just say, this is just who he is, and just kind of follow for that. And so I did a lot of insane stuff that would just not so much like player killing, but just like screwing with people or doing that sort of stuff. And then people wanted Fallout 4 content, and then all of a sudden I just had a Fallout audience. Like it just kind of quickly transitioned, and ESO was out and Fallout was in. It's crazy.
Wow. So that transition came pretty natural then. Did you find that the audience was different? I mean, during all of this time, you're interacting with them on Twitch and things.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, it was scary because it was about a 3-month period where it was the worst month I'd ever had on YouTube ever and Twitch. Because I kind of told people after I got kind of toxic in ESO, I'm like, I'm done. Like I can't play this game anymore. I got to dip. And I remember within that month, I lost 700 Twitch subscribers immediately, just out of the blue, just gone. And I started getting DM'd. I closed my DMs on Discord because I was starting to get death threats. I was getting email. My business email was filled with death threats. And the thing is, at some point as a content creator, you just kind of get used to it because you know that they're not serious, but it's still sucky. You know, it's still sucky to see that people view you that way. You know,
it's crazy. I mean, we talk about this with our soapbox portion, but it's the extremes that people are willing to do to emote at you about something that, you know, I mean, we all love games, but at the end of the day, it's a hobby. Like it's a game. It's a game. You know, there are other things in life that are more important.
Like, what were they? I don't understand what they were mad at you for stopping playing the game.
Yeah. So there's always the thing is like when you got an audience, there's always people that do not ever talk at all. They won't comment. They won't Twitch chat, nothing. They watch your videos and that's it. And a lot of them, I believe, get this sort of entitlement. I want to say it's a weird mentality. It's an entitlement to your videos. Right?
Ownership. Yeah.
Like that I
for something
owe them.
that they don't even pay for.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And like I felt like I had done my justice for ESO for 3 years? I can't remember now. I'd made so many videos. Like I felt like I'd really like made an impact on the community, that I was a likable content creator, I guess. And it just so easily showed me that I can't always trust that, you know, you're just a likable person, because there's so many people on the back burner that don't speak until you do something drastic. And then they just won't let you forget it ever. They just want to make you feel terrible about making this decision, make you feel terrible that
because you took something away from them. Right.
Yeah. I'm
oh, how dare you take this away from me? Now I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It's a twisted self-entitlement I think issue that like a lot of like really unspoken people, and I'm not saying I'm not generalizing, like I'm just saying there's certain people that do that.
It's a very small percentage of the demographic, but they are very loud when they're angry.
Oh, very. Yeah, no, hundreds of messages, thousands probably. Like it was ridiculous. Like I just proved to me like, you know what, like I really gotta, not look into this. So I was just deleting mass message. I would never open them, nothing. Just don't let that get to your head. Just kind of ignore it, right? And so it was definitely like not a smooth transition from one game to the next, I would say. Because I think every community has that aspect. If you're kind of dipping out and going somewhere else, that's gonna happen. But you know what? Like it probably took about 3 months before this stuff really started to roll, and I was like, okay, I can actually do this now. But like there was a period there where I was like, just so much self-doubt. Like this is never gonna work. Like I'm so hated. Nobody's gonna let me show them, what I can give them, even in a different game, right? Like. Yeah.
Do you find that one of the things that you're constantly competing with, especially when it comes to an audience, but also things like the algorithm of how YouTube promotes your stuff?
Super complicated now.
I mean, you're going from YouTube going, okay, this is a content creator who does Elder Scrolls Online and maybe some of this other stuff, to, okay, he's no longer making those videos. They're still there, so it still promotes them. But now you're doing this other thing. How did it feel like it took a while for YouTube to figure that out? Because it's all it's all automated, right? As soon as you start posting videos, and this is, my limited experience being, I'm not as big of a content creator, but I do know that if you post videos that don't perform as well, then they can actually affect your other content.
Oh yeah.
So how long did it take to shift and really, adjust? You're saying a few months.
Yeah. So definitely those 3 months. And then it's even today, I still suffer from it. Suffer is a harsh word. The algorithm it's like trying to ride a horse on a surfboard in a volcano. It is the most intense and confusing situation that you could find yourself in, because you're like, I thought I understood this for 1 millisecond and then everything changes. And that was the algorithm when I was swapping from ESL, because I swapped at the worst time too, because the algorithm was even having problems with content creators who have been creating the consistent Minecraft, Fortnite content. Like people could not be seen even by their own audience. And then here I am trying to swap to a whole new game.
Yeah.
What really helped my channel though was clickbait. Like at the end of the day, I know people hate it, but clickbait, man, it is one of the only ways you can get seen on YouTube.
Right. And you forgive it. People forgive it if the content is good enough.
If it's good enough. And
if
that's
it's good enough, they're like, they don't think about, the thing I clicked on doesn't 100% relate or was a little clickbaity. If the content's good, people really just don't care. It's when the content's bad and they feel like they were tricked.
Yeah. Well, and see, you don't want to like kind of get these people like festering some sort of hatred towards your channel, because if you upload too much, you can also grow an audience that's only there to hate you. And that's a scary thing too.
Yeah. Right.
And so with Fallout, I just knew, okay, it was clickbait. Killing players in the Fallout 76 beta, nuking a single player, whatever, like all that kind of stuff. Like there was truth in the clickbait, but it caught your attention. And that's where I felt like, that's where I had to go. And that's the only way the algorithm was by myself. It wasn't by tags. It wasn't by anything else except for a very convincing title.
It's the click-through rate.
I think that works for your high energy too. Like seeing like this outrageous title, and then your personality in the videos is outrageous. And so I think that aligns more with the title itself. I'm curious though. You said that the audience changed from Elder Scrolls into Fallout. Is it more lighthearted, would you say? I'm not trying to like, let's compare which audience is which, but would you think it would be more lighthearted? What are some of the differences, do you think?
So I think you get the true colors are shown when you do something drastic, for sure. Because with Elder Scrolls Online, for the longest time, I was like, everybody's so kind, everybody's so perfect, until you do something that just like even just threatens the game in the slightest. I made fun of Elder Scrolls Online in the same way I would make fun of Fallout, because I'm passionate about each game. Right. And I like to see it grow. And I believe that through my sense of humor, I can kind of say like, hey, this isn't so great. I'm going to joke about it, but like, let's do something about that. and people would just lose their minds. Like it was like in Elder Scrolls Online, it was probably a little bit harsher, especially leaving that game. Like people were just, there's so many unspoken people that just get so mad at you, and it was definitely harsher when you kind of uncover that side of the audience. But during it, it was actually pretty okay. Like I could actually poke fun at Elder Scrolls Online and get away with it. Like even from players that were pretty passionate about the game, I could still get away with that. Fallout, I can't do that as often, because I made one video that was pretty much to make fun of Fallout just because of something they had done, and that was like a year ago. And I wasn't meaning to come across as like hateful. I know a lot of people, you know, they view my channel as another Fallout 76 hate channel quite often. But I was just meaning to say, like, this is not done well. It needs to change. And I'd never seen so many people so just angry at something that was broken. Like, they're like, no, the game is perfect. Shut up and give us, you know, nuke another player. There's
a difference between constructive criticism and just blatant hate. Like those are two very different things. Right. One's meant to identify and fix, and the other is just to tear down.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I feel like the Fallout community at that point, and certain viewers would get much more agitated much quicker. And most of them wouldn't even watch the video to see what it's about. They wouldn't see like, oh yeah, you know, that's completely broken and misplaced and completely destroying the game. And if people abuse that, well, that's not great. They don't see that. They just see this is a big problem in the title, and then they just lose their mind.
Right. They don't even watch I had a video that went up a week or two ago, and somebody commented on something, but I clearly stated at the beginning this thing, and I was like, I just politely responded, well, I did address that at 1 minute and 30 seconds, but if you didn't skip that part, then you wouldn't have noticed. You know, like like just watch the video, guy. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of Crusaders really on both sides of the issue that are, you always see on Twitter, like the constant, and it's anything Bethesda does, and it's like, Todd Howard, blah blah blah, me, you know, like, and you have those people that are always there. You have the people that are very like, you will not criticize this thing that I like. When really, in actuality, most content creators, it's like whenever the power armor glitch happens where we all look like weird space aliens, we're putting that on Twitter and Instagram because it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It is.
And it's not all, you know, it's not all roses from that. But I think it's interesting of going through and playing both ESO and 76 and going through, okay, in order to be good at ESO, you have to have the right armor set, you have to have the right weapon set, you have to have, you know, not only your skills right, you have to have your champion points correct, and these different there's a lot of parts and pieces, whereas 76 like, okay, get some armor that has this one little effect and then take a bunch of drugs and you're good.
You're fine.
Put all your health down all the way and you're gonna do more damage. Like there's this, everybody's kind of learning these like interesting, like out of the box builds. And I feel like that it kind of takes these like there's a lot of high school level players of 76, but there's not a gigantic culture around that where they're forcing people into doing particular things. So I would imagine that maybe there would be less of that with you kind of doing that transition.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, just from what I've seen in both communities, it's weird how like-minded they are, because it's all an online experience in both games that has some sort of grind for something, and I think that when it comes to an, because like when I would play a game like, you know, Fallout 4, I can entertain anybody at anything. I can make fun of the game as much as I want, because the thing is, those people can customize that experience to however they want it to be. Versus an online game, you can't do that unless you're a hacker, right? You can't create your own experiences. Like even like with me, like creating the whole Gulag Arena sort of thing, like straight out of Warzone, which a lot of people actually didn't get. They you know, it's so hard to create that experience in an online game. And I think with players, it has to be this certain way, you know, or else all hell breaks loose. And so I think there's a lot of like-minded players in that experience. Like, don't ruin my experience. This is my online experience, and it's not your Fallout 4 offline modded, you know, game, right?
Yeah, that stream with the Gulag was awesome. Just If you guys haven't seen it, it's we should link it in the show notes. But it's an actual fighting arena, and you were handing out some cool gifts that night.
Yeah, it was.
Gifts and gulag.
And then the hacker came in and destroyed our server. Were you there for that?
No, I think I dipped out at that point, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that was that was a good way to end the stream. Yeah.
So, I feel like we've kind of come through your whole story at this point. You also seem to have a lot of, I don't know, a lot of experience and advice that you could give to people who want to do things similar to what you're doing, creating content, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. What would be the most important advice you could give to somebody who it was you 6 years ago?
I have to say there's like, I'm proof of this. Like, you don't know if you're going to be that other guy who all of a sudden gets into some sort of audience and grows, and I feel like a lot of people, they pursue this and then they just give up. Right. Yeah. And then constantly they tell themselves only other people ever, make it or get some growth out of it. I would say, like, if this is something you're passionate about, like, you don't put it down. You never know. All of a sudden you might hit a gold mine in some random video that nobody cares about on your channel. Like, all of a sudden, Elder Scrolls Online video, never done that in my life, and all of a sudden it was there. And you know what? If you are pushing that, that goal, never look at the numbers ever. Numbers are deceiving. Numbers are fleeting. But the experience in the community is forever. That's what you want to focus on. So the numbers, don't look at the numbers. They will do nothing. That, I think there is no greater enemy than the numbers when you're in this kind of line of work.
Yeah. You look at them, you start to obsess and self-doubt, and then replan content, worrying if you can get higher, and it becomes a whole.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and you said it earlier on that you were creating content because you loved creating content.
Yep.
You were making videos because you enjoyed making videos. And I think that to summarize basically everything else you've said, I think that all comes around to authenticity. It comes around to doing the things that you genuinely enjoy, being yourself, connecting with people as yourself, and just continuing to do that. And if that works out, that it can turn into something more, then that's great. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, at least you're still getting the value out of creating things that you enjoy and connecting with people who you want to connect with.
Exactly.
And that's invaluable too. So it can work out both ways.
Oh yeah.
This test too of a community is when you start to become so authentic that people start sharing with you on a personal level things that they don't even that they struggle with. And in a lot of your streams, it's people talking about anxiety or depression or the death of a loved one. I don't see that in a lot of other streams, but I see that a lot in yours. And I know you've shared some of your personal struggles, stuff that you've gone through over the years, but it's interesting that kind of community dynamic that you've created where you feel like you're hanging out with friends, and maybe that's why they felt like they could open up.
100%.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting to see. Yeah, like I've noticed that, especially over the past years, and people telling me they've noticed that, because I just figured it was natural that a lot of people would do that in streams. And I feel like that was like going back to when I first started streaming. That was one of the dynamics. Like always talk. Like if I'm commenting on the game, I'm commenting. Chat is going. I'm answering questions in chat. Like I always made it my effort to answer almost every question I could in chat. And I feel like when people can have their voice heard, they feel like I'm being heard. This is I need to get this off my chest. And it's like the whole airplane scenario. Like, I don't know how many times I've been on an airplane where the person next to me has just like completely opened up to me because I'm a stranger. I'm somebody to talk to. And I feel like, you know what, online, you are a name, right? I don't know who this person is. I don't know where they live. I don't know if they're even a real person, but you know what they need? They need this comforting, thoughts or any advice they can get. And I think that's I welcome that in the stream for sure, because like, you know, people need that, and it's so much more important than video games. I would put down my game in an instant to talk to somebody about that before I try to win a game of Fortnite or whatever. Like it's so much more important.
Right. Yeah. I think we all have that in common. I know we've in our communities have experienced that as well, and that like it really is a powerful moment when somebody who you only know on the internet as a name opens up and says, "Hey, there's something going on, and I know I can trust you guys. I just need to hear somebody I have connection with. I just need to get this off my chest." And if you're you're right. If you can just be there for just a few minutes to talk with somebody, that's invaluable, and that creates that has a lifetime value as opposed to winning, you know, the next round of Fortnite.
100%.
You know, big deal.
Yep.
I won another round of Fortnite. Great. You know,
that person will forever remember that moment when you listened and were there for them.
100%. Oh yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. All right. Well, I feel like we're getting to the end of this. Are there any other questions the other guys had for you? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
Oh, awesome. What are your where do you have a 2-year, 1-year plan, or you're not thinking that far ahead? Like, where have you been thinking about where you want to go next?
I'm thinking about next week, man. You know what? As of kind of dipping out of Fallout 76, specifically, I'm still doing Fallout stuff. I just need to break from 76 for a bit. I've noticed like a lot of people enjoy just insane moments, and you know what? Like I like to pride myself in thinking that I'm the unluckiest gamer alive, and I capture the worst moments ever happening to me in games because the dumbest stuff will happen to me. And I'm like, I want to encapsulate that and put that into videos, because like people are watching my stream, and I tell people like this stuff happens to me all the time. They're like, no, it doesn't. And then I'm streaming, and they're like, you are friggin' unlucky. Like,
no,
this is not normal. And that's kind of where I'm wanting to go, and that's why Tarkov is so exciting to me, because I'm like, I know that I'm gonna be absolutely terrible at this game, and it's gonna be fantastic, and that's kind of, you know, just stuff like that. Like I want to create, rather than like, you know, another build video or something, I want to create experiences, man. I want to create stuff that people can come back to 3 years from now and be like, oh hey, I remember that, like that video, you know, and timeless. Like that's where I want to go. At least it's definitely a bigger fish to fry, but I don't know. I'm heading that way.
It's a good goal. Very cool. Awesome. Well, how can people reach out to you? What's the best way to get a hold of you or plug into your content?
If you guys like, I try to read most of my comments on YouTube, so you guys even plug a comment in there. My Discord DMs are open for the time being. That can always be revoked if it gets crazy.
Just don't send hate mail.
Don't send hate mail. I will ban you. And then if you guys are wanting to contact me, like something a bit more serious, I got a business email. It's just kevduitbusiness@gmail.com if you guys want to send stuff there. But
and YouTube's basically /Kevduit, Twitch /Kevduit.
Yeah.
All the regular places.
All regular places.
Kevduit on Twitter? I can't recall.
Yeah, Kevduit on Twitter. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. This has been super cool. I'm sorry I hacked into the middle of your game, but thanks for taking the time to talk with us. And
I was getting tilted anyways.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I hope your viewers didn't mind too much. All right, man. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on to our Abraxo box. We've got we've got I don't know, boys. Have you been at war lately? Has anyone gone to battle? I hear there were some conflicts brewing.
I read about this, and Ken, I think you're the one that's been following it, because I read about this and I immediately just like, I'm just gonna turn off all of the social media, all of the different things, and just I literally took a few days break. I read that and I was like, or that this thing was happening, and I was like, yeah, no,
up in arms, pitchforks, torches.
I got to. I'm gonna set up the box here, and I'm gonna put some ladders on the side. polish it up a little bit.
Some
and,
ladders. You're gonna have to climb up a ladder. This multiple boxes.
This is going to be a very tall soapbox.
All right.
It's gonna be a soap trebuchet.
I am on top of the Abraxo Tower. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, it's just hard to see you now.
It's the tower. It's a dark tower.
The dark tower, huh?
So to put a little context into play, what started this all off, or set the tone, there is and has been for quite a while now a common tactic used by PvPers / mostly griefers to force people on a team into a PvP scenario. So basically, you just need to get one person to engage back, even get them to fight back against a player, and then all of a sudden the whole team goes into PvP mode, even if some of the other members are in pacifist. So it overrides that. Immediately you get creamed. It's super irritating. Back in November, we had done a group event where we were doing a turkey hunt, which was just like some friendly nonsense PvP. And we had a YouTuber send somebody in as a mole into our group and get on one of the teams dressed as a pilgrim. And then they went into a cabin. They triggered PvP. And then the guy had all of his people come down out of the mountains and then just start this whole thing. We ended up switching to private servers. So it was just irritating more than anything else. But it becomes a problem in a PvE game where you're just trying to have fun with friends, and it becomes this whole thing. So it needs to be separated. What's coming with patch 20 is you no longer will be able to trigger PvP that way. If you engage back with a player, it's between you two. It won't enable it for anyone else on the team. So the PvP / griefer groups really got worked into a lather about this, and a war on Bethesda was declared and proclaimed in a magazine called the Wasteland Gazette.
Well, when everything's a nail, then you only have a hammer. How's that phrase work? When you're a hammer, everything's a nail. When it's all about PvP, it's all about war, then it's all about war, right? Like that. Like, we can't fight each other, so now we have to fight Bethesda because they suck.
For one thing, come up with a more original name. La Resistance, really?
Is that the name of it?
South Park callback. You could have come up with a better name, but so the objective of the group was to use hacked weapons to crash servers, increasingly troll groups, Discords, Reddit, Facebook, just basically cause mayhem. And their goal was to get Bethesda to bring back survival mode, or simply not enable that with patch 20. None of which, of course, is going to work. So they had set up a Discord group. And of course, numerous people within the community went undercover. Not me, but other people went in there and started reporting out and back what some of the group was up to. The whole thing ended up being silly. More breaking news today is that the group has since disbanded. The Discord is no more. The reason that the Discord is no more is it was leaked that the group claimed that when the Bethesda servers were crashed, when everything went down this week, that they were responsible for it. So somebody took a snapshot of the group talking about that, like, yeah, we should totally claim credit for it. So, of course, people within the group snapshotted that, and also you have the La Resistance declaration that they did this to the servers. So, of course, that circled around communities and just made them look silly. I have two viewpoints on this. We've had Vex on, and we've talked about how when the game was first launched, PvP was intended to be kind of an aspect of this game. It was built into it, and even the launch videos had it. That being said, the community has slowly but surely gone in a different direction. So looking to do more PvE events, looking for more PvE content, to the point that Bethesda recognized that, realized that the bulk of the community wasn't looking for that kind of an experience. So they're going where the audience is going. The majority want something different. I think the PvP community has a number of things that they should be rightfully a little upset about. In that, Nuclear Winter is created as a mode. I enjoy going in there. I don't take it too seriously. It's fun. But there hasn't been a lot of new stuff added to it. So the PvP community who came to this game and got into the game thinking they would have that experience are now having that experience slowly but shrink and taken away without getting something back. So I think they do have a right to be a little upset. I don't think doing that kind of a nonsense is going to be in any way productive. It doesn't get Bethesda to respond, much less open a dialogue.
Yeah. So wait, how many movies have we seen where there's a terrorist who takes hostages and then the authorities are like, we don't negotiate with terrorists?
Yeah.
Right. Like, isn't that the whole mantra of like everybody ever? So why like basically they're taking the stance of the terrorist and they're saying, we're going to do all these terrible things unless you give us what we want. And it's like, that never works.
No, it just, yeah. And if anything,
it just makes you look like a jerk.
The people in there, I think a lot of people became pissed off at those particular people and their names became known. So if anything, it makes you look worse to the rest of the community. There are two efforts that are a little more productive that are being spearheaded right now. One is a petition going around on change.org that I think has something like 1,100 signatures at this point. What they're asking for is for the survival servers to be brought back. I can't see that happening because those resources were utilized for other things like private servers and also resources for Wastelanders. But so I don't think
that's a more reasonable way of going about it.
Yes, it's the process is correctly. Secondarily, in the Data Miners Discord, one of the leaders from the Filthy Casuals subreddit connected with me and had an idea to open a dialogue with the devs and present an arena scenario that can work. So with my group, I did a test where I got some of the people on our team to fight with actually Vex and a few of his players in taking over the Tyler County dirt track, turned it into a proper arena, and then they had this just fun kind of team deathmatch set up, and they enjoyed it. It worked really well. So I think a few of us are going to get together, formally make a suggestion how they could create something a little bit more of a dynamic and fun PvP deathmatch arena in an instanced way, so people could enter into it and go do that without it affecting other people or suck other people into it. And it would be something kind of fun. I think I would even enjoy that. And at least it would be something fun to do. I think that is more productive than, just being a douche, crashing servers and ruining the experience for everyone. And let's also be a little honest here. Your intent is less altruistic. A lot of the people that are in there are from known groups anyway, who just are out to look to troll people, make for a negative experience. They don't all of a sudden have this positive cause that they're working towards. It's similar to like when our apocalyptic aristocracy group was formed. There were raiders, griefers that came into the community and tried to paint our group as someone starting a war with peasants. So we made headlines in gaming magazines everywhere as it being like this war against Fallout First members versus everybody else. There was that formed from these people who just kind of go in and kind of pervert a scenario to, I guess, continue being a douchey griefer. But
when you look at it from the like corporate company standpoint, and you have different kinds of customers, and you have customers who make the game less enjoyable and more difficult for the majority of your other customers who are either neutral, or they just do their own thing, or make it more pleasant and more enjoyable for the rest of your customers, who are you going to side with? You're not going to side with the people who make it a worse experience for the rest of your population, because they are actually subtracting from your ability to promote and grow the game. So
Also, they're harming the overall community, because when people have a griefing incident, it makes you want to shut the game off and go do something else, because you're not looking for that kind of a douchey experience. You're looking to have fun with friends.
Yeah, nobody logs in hoping to get griefed.
No, yeah.
Like,
and even though you enjoy doing that, you're dictating the experience for someone else. The overall point is that it ruins it for everybody.
Right.
Because invariably what happens is Bethesda takes steps to mitigate your ability to do that. So you've created a scenario that makes PvP worse, not just for yourself, but everybody else, because of the way that you're choosing to go about it.
Yep.
And also, with you and I in marketing, when you have a brand, you focus on the ideal customer. Because this has been a kind of a dynamic experience, I think Bethesda has been shifting the experience depending on what hits. They've been testing a lot of ideas and concepts and seeing what we react to.
Yeah,
so
their group of personas has changed, the ones that they're targeting.
I think now they're getting more of a concrete idea about who their ideal audience for this game is. Now we're, a year and a half into the game. So they have kind of an idea of who that core is, the one that is dedicated to the game and it really makes them the most money buying stuff from the Atomic Shop to build camps. That has become the ideal audience. So you have to put money and resources into that ideal audience in order to keep growing the brand.
Right. And to some people, that they see that as a negative. Oh, they'd only want to give things to the people who are going to spend money. But it's not a negative if it keeps the game alive.
Right.
Like that's the thing, is that yes, it makes them money, but making the company money allows them to keep the game alive and keep providing for everyone else who also wants to continue playing the game. And just because there are a few whales that spend, and that's what they're called in the industry, is whales, who will spend thousands of dollars on the store, doesn't mean you have to enjoy the game. And that's the way these things work, is that because there are people who are willing to spend that much on the pay to buy stuff part of the game, that means that you can just pay the one price that you want and get into the game and play it for as long as you want and enjoy all the new content that comes out and do all those other things. So it actually benefits everybody.
Yeah. It's also when you think about it, a lot of the arguments online is that, this game should be free or these updates should be free. That's not how business works. For one thing, Wastelanders, and I think even Pete had mentioned when we did the Wastelanders launch, they went over budget on voice talent. So they spent a lot of money. The money has to come from somewhere. You can't keep growing and adding content to a game and it just comes out of the company coffers without there having income, the game sustaining and paying for itself. So stuff can't be free. It doesn't, business doesn't.
If you value something, it pays to support it.
Right.
If you feel like you're getting the amount that it is valued back. That's how economies work. You put money into the thing that you value, you get something back, you feel like it's a fair trade, and then if you feel like you want to do that again, you do it again. And it's nice when things are free. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. But
after playing Wastelanders and rolling through a lot of that content, I am incredibly surprised, and I think it's really a shout out to the community and more of like filling in, keeping promises and really generating goodwill that it's free, because I mean it is an expansion to the game. Like it is like classic like expansion material for your base game. I would not be surprised if they do end up charging for these gigantic expansions, much like how ESO does, but you've got to figure out some way of making money, but particularly really back on the PvP end of things. To me, it's like you have two types of people that are PvPing. People that are really working on creating their builds and doing the proper planning and measuring out numbers and saying, okay, I have tested and I have perfected. This is how I do PvP. This is like I've spent hours on this build, trying to get the right weapons, trying to do the right things. I don't think that there is. I think that their place is shrinking. I think the people that are into like, okay, I like the mechanics and the feel of Fallout, but I think that I don't want to spend the time going through a build and thinking about weapons and thinking about it's like I want to get out there. I want a balanced experience, and I think that Nuclear Winter is that. So I think that there are people that are being served by that. But I do agree that your demographic of those people who are looking for these like instantaneous PvP situations are generally not going to be served. I think that PvP is really going to have to be organized by the community. I would not be surprised when they roll out this private team situation that they're going to add a category in that's just going to be PvP. So you can do stuff like, we've come up with this really cool arena. I just built this arena.
Right.
Like, or maybe we're all in a building team and then we build this arena and then we're like, oh, that would be fun to turn on PvP and fight with it.
Right.
Then that's a more natural
right.
changeover.
Or you flag yourself as PvP, or if you're part of different PvP groups, you can now automatically interact with anyone else who has that flagged.
Right.
Yeah.
So that it opens a door at least for that community that is out there. And I mean, we've had like we said, we had Vex on, but right now there isn't. So I do understand it from that aspect, but
yeah,
you're not going to see anything radical with that because really the game is a co-op experience now, and that's 90% of this game is a co-op experience.
Right. I believe that PvP can work and can be a successful part of the game. I think the problem is PvP right now is too unbalanced to function in adventure, especially considering the amount of hack weapons on PC. It makes it virtually impossible. If you want to be good at it, you almost have to get your hands on weapons of a questionable nature to be able to compete against other people who have weapons of a unconventional nature.
Right.
But, you know, like on Friday night, we did, I set up 2 just fun PvP scenarios. One where I was the Sickle Man and we went to Wendigo Cave, and it was a bunch of scouts in there, sexy teens. And I would go around and hunt them. And if
Did you wear an outfit? Did you have the...
I was the Sickle Man. When I killed them, they died. They exit. They couldn't come back in. And if they killed me, they became the Sickle Man. So we did this whole thing. And it was fun. They had fun, and people got prizes at the end. And then we went after that and did kind of a hunt the Simon. So people hunted me at the water park, and I was in stealth mode. So I was able to take down a few people before they ganged up and took me down. But something like that was fun and enjoyable. It wasn't like, you know, where you're building a house and here comes, you know, 3 people to just kill you and then blow up your house. That's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like tag is more fun when you have a group of friends playing it, as opposed to I'm going to go out in the street and tag somebody and hope that they chase me back, because that's
super
kind
fun.
of what it is in the game. Yeah. It's like,
have you seen the videos of people running around? Like there's one, this came out years ago, I think now, where the guy was in a public space and he walks up to somebody and hands them like a sword, like a foam sword. And then he like holds his sword up and then they just like he's just sparring with like people with foam swords, and you know, and that's hilarious. But yes, this is a very different situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Where that was probably a lot more comedy than it is for.
Yes.
I'm a pro at foam swords, and
Yes.
I want to test my strength against other foam sword wielders. Like,
right.
I do feel like that they need that. It's like, you know, it's almost like policy. It's like, I think that they need that classification underneath the group system, you know, within the game. I'm pro PvP group system classification within the private teams they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that having organized events like Fight Club, like Ken dressing up like a 80s slasher and going around and hunting people with a sickle, like that sounds delightfully fun. And that's one of the benefits of this game, is the freedom to do that kind of stuff, because you don't get that level of play like we were bringing up with ESO. It's like you don't get that level of play in a lot of games. Like there's so much freedom in this game that you can get together with friends and have this like this stupid idea and follow through with it just because it's fun.
Yeah. Ken, is something going on?
It was expired meat.
Oh, okay. I thought something technical was happening with the recording or something. Okay.
He's up on this tower. He's still up there. We haven't brought him back down yet.
You okay? You okay? You okay up on your tower? You doing all right up there?
Wait, I don't.
Are you doing?
The boxes aren't supposed to hold that much weight that high.
But I know the yelling and ranting and doing these things at Bethesda does not help. Trolling in the Bethesda Discord does not help. There are some legitimate issues with PvP and adventure. God mode being one of the more nefarious ones. That using that glitch to become practically invulnerable, but going the right way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is how this stuff goes, and at some point, every game developer, buttons up things in a way that it's harder to troll people, and the trolls go on to a different game. That's just kind of what happens. There's always this phase where a game's in and it's early, and the trolls all go around and they do their thing, and then they move on to something else. And
that's what I thought when Wastelanders launched. I was like, just wait till there's a bug, and then people are going to be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it goes in the cycle.
Yeah.
They'll go away. Wait till the next expansion comes out, and then everything will be great until there's a bug. And
yeah. And it's not always the same people. That's the other thing, is that we commonly group like the community or the online. And it's like, well, no, the majority of people are still doing this, and then when something happens, this group over here now starts acting up, and then something else happens, and this group over here starts acting, and it's not the same people. That's why it seems confusing. It's like, well, weren't you guys just happy with this, and now you're not happy with it? It's not the same people.
It's same messaging, different people.
Right, and it sounds like the same community, but it's not. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, you need help getting off those boxes? You okay?
I'm coming down.
All right.
I thought that we were going to reenact the plot of Die Hard.
Yes, but we'll do that after the stream.
The war to save Ken.
Video after the recording.
Shoot! No, that was the wrong movie. Never mind.
All right, guys. Well, that seems like it's a podcast. I think we did it.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. How can people get a hold of you, Dave?
You can find me on Twitter at CHAFINZ, CHAFINZ. I'm pretty sure. I think so. You can find me on Instagram, same place as well. Have kind of taken a break with the COVID situation with my other shows. Hopefully, get them back running once everybody is gainfully employed again. We live in a crazy time, and I hope that everyone is being safe. And I really hope that everybody is focusing on putting positivity out into the world. I really hope that you are being empathetic for other people. And I'm not trying to sound preachy, but really think about, as we start to get back together, as we start to kind of reform this social settings, really try to be more empathetic in general. I'm trying to do that as well. And trying to see problems that I haven't seen before in this very tumultuous time. That is my thing that I am working towards, that I challenge everyone to do as well.
Keep your pets spayed or neutered.
Keep your pets spayed or neutered.
Yep.
Be careful with those casual situations.
Casual situations.
There's still a pandemic out there.
Be casual.
All right, Ken. How can people get hold of you?
You can find me at fallout76podcast.com, and also the same on all social media platforms.
There you go. I, of course, can be reached at Robots Radio, so at Robots Radio on the Twitter, and that's my account, but it's for the entire network, robotsradio.net, for all the other shows. You can check out all my Fallout Lorecast and the other shows that I do. Also, we need to mention this as well. We are now sponsored by Loot Crate. So if you want to get 15% off a Loot Crate box, which is freaking awesome because they've got Fallout Loot Crates, which I subscribe to, Elder Scrolls Loot Crates, like, I don't know, some of us also play Elder Scrolls, right? Dave and I do that. And, all sorts of other stuff on there. So if you want a box to come in,
they got all kinds
Borderlands,
of
all sorts of video games, comic books,
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Cool
stuff. So, if you want to get a really high amount of value of stuff in a box every month or every quarter or whenever each of the crates comes out. You can go sign up for one of those. This is, in fact, you can see the Brotherhood flag behind me. I got that in one of my loot crates, including some of the little guys over on the shelf over there. So it's a really awesome deal. You get 15% off. You just got to click the link, and this is important. Click the link in the show notes underneath either the video or the podcast if you're listening on the audio, and that will take you to Loot Crate, and that will make sure that they know that we sent you. And then you put in the code Robots Radio, ROBOTS RADIO, and it will get 15% off, and we get a little bit of a kickback for that too at no extra cost because you still get a discount. So it works out for everybody. So go check that out. Otherwise, guys, you know how to get a hold of us. We're on the Twitters, we're on Discords, there's links to all that stuff in the show notes. So thanks for tuning in as usual, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
See you next time.
See you guys.
With a minor scale, a high, the piccolo and the king. Made my early days.